डाउनलोड करने में बड़ा वो टूल वूल ढूंढने में टाइम लगता है. अगर आप कहीं पे भी अपलोड कर दोगे ना, देन आई कैन डाउनलोड दैट.
Sir.
तो आपने लिंक दोबारा भेज दिया था सर को?
Yes, sir.
डाउनलोड करने में बड़ा वो टूल वूल ढूंढने में टाइम लगता है. अगर आप कहीं पे भी अपलोड कर दोगे ना, देन आई कैन डाउनलोड दैट.
Sir.
तो आपने लिंक दोबारा भेज दिया था सर को?
Yes. Yeah, we have got.
Sir is there.
I hope now it is with correct name.
Yeah. Good evening, sir. It was my mess. It was my mess.
मेरे पास आया नहीं था कोई. इनफैक्ट अभी मैंने रजिस्टर किया फिर.
Then it was my mess.
It's 19 hours.
Namaskar.
Yeah. Good evening, sir. It was my mess. It was my mess.
Yeah. Namaskar, hello and welcome to today's Mantras of Management. And today we have a very, very special Maharishi who would be sharing his lifelong mantras of management with all of us. As we say, our Sudhir sir is a CXO with a difference. So today we have got Shri Prakash Kumar sir, who is truly a public policy and technology personnel with a difference. And what a illustrious career choices, what a illustrious record. And for our listeners and viewers, he is the man who has really chiseled and curated, I would say, the world's most complex taxation system, bringing India onto the futuristic rails of taxation, which can really steer forward our economy, our governmental system. So, sir curated the entire GSTI, and it was under his leadership. So that is one of the biggest accomplishments which he brings, and probably some of the greatest managerial mantras he would be sharing with us this evening. Just to give a quick snapshot of the illustrious persona behind Shri Prakash Kumarji. Sir happens to be an IIT Kanpur graduate of 1979 to 1985. Then he joined 79 to 84. Then he joined the Indian Administrative Service, served there for a really great amount of time. And then he made another differentiated choice of going for his master's in public administration, not to the Harvards of the world, but he chose and he acted east. He went to a Japanese university, and that's what Saitama University over there. We would be seeking as to what really propelled him to make this very, very differentiated choice, which we found very, very rare. And after coming back, he rose up the ladder, served the departments across, and then he moved out. He moved out to the technological world, served some of the gigantic IT corporations, and which is Cisco and Microsoft. And then again, he returns back to the service of the nation. He builds one of the biggest, I would say, public taxation system of the world, the most complex for a country like India, a billion plus mouths, small enterprises really embarking upon this technological platform. So he was the CEO of the Goods and Services Taxation Network for almost 6 years. And after having played such a lovely innings, he then moved further again to the private sector to really give back over there. And now currently, sir is leading the Vadhvani Institute of Technology and Policy. So it's really a terrific career which we are seeing in front of us. And we have the Maharishi of management today who would be really illumining us with all his, I would say, illustrious career and the choices he made. And I request our anchor Maharishi, Sudhir sir, to just take on and introduce Prakash sir further to our audience and take this conversation forward, sir.
Thanks, Raghav. And Prakash sir, pehle to hum aapko, we would like to convey our sincere thanks to you for consenting to be on the platform. So thank you very much, sir. It's really privilege for us that we have somebody like you on our platform to share your experience and your thoughts. And while Raghav has actually briefed about your profile, but Raghav आपने दो एक चीजें इसमें नोट करेंगे सर की प्रोफाइल में, जैसे सरकार कॉर्पोरेट में स्ट्रेटजी होती है, वैसे ही सरकार में पॉलिसी होती है. तो whether sir was a part of industry or part of government, he has always worked upon the strategy or the policy part. And at the same time, if I may use very talking language, he had dirtied his hands when it comes to implementation. और राघव आप एक चीज और देखेंगे इसमें कि सर ने 2 टैक्स रिजीम चेंज जो इंडिया में हुए हैं, कमर्शियल मतलब फ्रॉम सेल टैक्स टू वैट एंड देन फ्रॉम वैट टू जीएसटीएन. सो sir has actually served both the transformation changes.
Okay.
और तीसरा अगर आप देखेंगे तो सर का जो सब स्मॉल एंड मीडियम एंटरप्राइजेज है वो हर रोल में उनके संग वो जुड़े हुए हैं, which is actually engine of growth for India. So these are some of the things which are very well connected with sir, and he has aligned himself. I'm sure a lot of it is by design. So thank you Raghav and welcome sir. तो
thank you very much.
Thank you सर. हम आपसे बातचीत शुरू करेंगे. पहले आप कुछ कहिए, फिर हम आपसे बातचीत शुरू करेंगे. पहले आप कुछ कहिए.
पहली बात तो first of all thank you very much both of you for giving me this opportunity. Second, I'm not a Maharishi, I'm just a student of management. And all that this just happened. I mean, destiny took me from one place to another. And that's how, in government, you don't know where you will be posted next. But thereafter, it was my choice where to go. And what Raghav, the move again back to GST network was basically, I saw an opportunity where I could use my whatever little expertise I had in both taxation and technology for setting up that particular system. So thank you very much. I am just a student of management and life, and I am here whatever little I can share, with whatever little I know, which I can share with you and the people who are listening.
सर अगर हम जीएसटीएन को देखें तो एक तरह से आजकल के वक्त में जो हम बातें करते हैं, आई थिंक इट वाज अ गुड स्टार्टअप, क्योंकि बड़ा थिन, बड़ा लीन एंड मीन ऑर्गेनाइजेशन था. और स्टार्टअप इसलिए क्योंकि उसमें हर चीज चाहे तो वो रूल्स एंड रेगुलेशंस थी, तो वो उसमें भी इनोवेशन थी. जो वहाँ आपने टेक्नोलॉजी यूज की वो भी उसमें इनोवेशन थी. और सबसे बड़ी बात उसका प्रोक्योरमेंट जो मतलब मेरे लिए बड़ा फेवरेट है कि उसका जो प्रोक्योरमेंट लाइफ साइकिल था, आई थिंक ये पहली बार देश में हुआ था कि जब पार्लियामेंट ने किसी चीज का एक्ट पास नहीं किया और उसका आरएफपी जो है वो डिसाइड हो गया था, अवार्ड हो गया था. तो आई थिंक एंड दैट इज व्हाई राघव आपने देखा होगा कि दिस वाज द फर्स्ट टाइम इन इंडिया जब सरकार वाज फार अहेड ऑफ इंडस्ट्री. नॉर्मली हम कहते हैं सरकार पीछे रहती है, दिस वाज द केस बिकॉज इंडस्ट्री अभी सोच ही रही थी कि जीएसटी आएगा आएगा आएगा, और द काइंड ऑफ लीडरशिप वाज शोन बाय द एंटायर गवर्नमेंट. सो दिस वाज अ गुड स्टार्टअप केस. सर हम आपसे जो बात शुरू करना चाहेंगे वो चेंज मैनेजमेंट से शुरू करना चाहेंगे. और चेंज मैनेजमेंट सर इन मॉडर्न डेज, क्योंकि चेंज मैनेजमेंट हमेशा से एक सब्जेक्ट रहा है, लेकिन मॉडर्न डेज में when most of the changes are happening, which are technology led, disruptive in nature. और जहाँ तक हमारी समझ कहती है सर उसमें यह है कि जब भी हम चेंज मैनेजमेंट की बात करते हैं तो पीपल, प्रोसेस एंड टेक्नोलॉजी आती है. और आपने 2 टैक्स रिजीम आपके हाथों के नीचे से निकले हैं. एक में जब ये सेल टैक्स से वैट हुआ था, और दूसरी बार जब वो जीएसटी नहीं रहा है, जो कि एक बिल्कुल ट्रांसफॉर्मेशनल था कंट्री लेवल पे, सिंगल प्लेटफॉर्म. तो चेंज मैनेजमेंट इन मॉडर्न डेज विद टेक्नोलॉजी इंटरवेंशंस, इसके बारे में आप कुछ हमसे बात कीजिए.
देखिए, जो भी ये चेंजेस हुई बेसिकली 2-3 इसके ये थे. एक तो था कि एफिशिएंसी इंप्रूवमेंट हो. जो हमारे इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स रिजीम थी उसके पहले बहुत ही फ्रैगमेंटेड थी. स्टेट में सेल्स टैक्स था, सेंटर में आपका सर्विस टैक्स था, फिर एक आपका एक्साइज टैक्स था, और इसके अलावा करीब 20 छोटे छोटे टैक्सेस, सेस। और इनडायरेक्ट टैक्स में क्या होता है, हर स्टेज पे आपकी टैक्सेशन होती है। आइडियल कंडीशन में आपने जो भी टैक्स अपने रॉ मटेरियल या गुड्स एंड सर्विसेज परचेज की, वो आपको पूरी की पूरी सेट ऑफ मिलनी चाहिए, लेकिन उसे मिलता नहीं था, क्योंकि कुछ चीज़ें उसमें सेंटर इम्प्लीमेंट कर रही थी, कुछ स्टेट इम्प्लीमेंट कर रही थी, और ये एक बहुत बड़ा ड्रैग था हमारी इकोनॉमी पे, हमारे इंडस्ट्री। तो गवर्नमेंट ने उसमें बहुत सेंटर और स्टेट में मिल के इसको एग्री किया कि हम इसको सबको मर्ज करेंगे और एक नया टैक्स बनाएंगे। जब नया कोई भी नई टैक्स बनती है रिजीम में, तो दिक्कतें शुरू में आती है, और इसमें भी काफ़ी दिक्कतें आई, चाहे वो आईटी सिस्टम्स की तरफ से हो, लॉ की पॉलिसी में हो, बट धीरे करके सिस्टम ठीक हो गया। अब जैसे आपने कहा कि चेंज इसमें था, काफ़ी डिसरप्टिव चेंज था, टैक्स पेयर के लिए भी और टैक्स ऑफिसर्स के लिए और टैक्स प्रैक्टिशनर के लिए, तीनों के लिए। लेकिन अब सब कहते हैं कि बहुत अच्छा चेंज हुआ, खास करके जो हमारे यूजर्स हैं, तकरीबन 1,30,00,000 यूजर्स, टैक्स पेयर्स हैं जो एक्टिव, जो इस पे हर महीने रिटर्न भरते, मतलब टैक्सेस जमा करते हैं, रिटर्न भरते हैं। उनके लिए ये हो गया कि पहले उनको श्योरिटी नहीं थी कि जो क्लेम कर रहे हैं इनको टैक्स क्रेडिट मिलेगी कि मिलेगी नहीं, क्योंकि जब असेसमेंट होता था उस समय। अब क्या है, जब आप फाइल कर रहे हैं, आज तो ये कंडीशन है कि आपने फाइल किया, आपके सप्लायर ने फाइल किया, और आपको सामने दिखा कि कितना उन्होंने पे किया और कितना आपको मिलेगा। तो ये टेक्नोलॉजी के कारण पॉसिबल हुआ, और इसको करने के लिए हमें काफ़ी मशक्कत करनी पड़ेगी, दोनों को, सबको, जितने हमारे इम्पोर्टेंट स्टेक होल्डर्स हैं, टैक्स पेयर्स हैं, ऑफिसर्स हैं और टैक्स कंसल्टेंट्स हैं, इन सबको एक जगह लाने के लिए। तो ट्रेनिंग काफ़ी इम्पोर्टेंट इसमें एस्पेक्ट रहा। सेकेंड था कि जो भी डिज़ाइन किया हम लोगों ने, जितने इंटरफेसेस थे, यूआई, वो सब यूजर के पर्सपेक्टिव से किया। और पर्सपेक्टिव ही नहीं, हम जो भी डिज़ाइन करते थे, मैं पहली बार आपसे शेयर कर रहा हूँ, वैसे 50 के आसपास हमारे यंग चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट थे, जिनको हम बुलाते थे, उनसे हम टेस्ट कराते थे, और उनसे फिर फीडबैक लेते थे कि इसमें क्या ठीक है, क्या नहीं है, क्या यूआई चेंज किया जाए, क्या इंटरफेस चेंज किया जाए। उनकी जितनी सजेशंस आती थी वो हम इंकॉर्पोरेट। तो इस चीज़ को हमने ये किया कि जो चेंज कर रहे हैं वो उनके लिए, और उनके हिसाब से कैसे अच्छा होगा। तो ये बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट है किसी भी चेंज मैनेजमेंट टेक्निक में। जो अल्टीमेट यूजर है, उसके तरफ से अगर हम नहीं देखेंगे तो नहीं चलेगा। गवर्नमेंट में बहुत सारे केसेस में क्या होता है कि हम उसको गवर्नमेंट की स्कीम की तरफ से देखते हैं, गवर्नमेंट ऑफिसर्स की तरफ से देखते हैं। वहाँ देखना चाहिए कि यूजर्स कैसे, चाहे वो टैक्स पेयर हो, चाहे वो कंसल्टेंट हो, चाहे वो ऑफिसर। तो ये एक एस्पेक्ट रखा हम लोगों ने। दूसरा था कि इंफॉर्मेशन अवेलेबल बनाओ जब चाहे तो, और जिस डिवाइस पे चाहे। ये बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट है, पहले नहीं होता था, पहले सिर्फ किसी कंसल्टेंट के पास, आज उनके पास भी, और जब चाहे वो जिस डिवाइस पे चाहे देख सकते। तो इंफॉर्मेशन अवेलेबिलिटी से दोनों को फायदे हैं, दोनों तरफ। और जनरली क्या होता है कि एनालिसिस या एनालिटिक्स जो होती है, हम लोग गवर्नमेंट में सोचते हैं कि ये, या बाहर ऐसा एम्फेसिस होता है कि ये सिर्फ फ्रॉड पकड़ने के लिए। वो है, वो एक एस्पेक्ट है चेंज का। दूसरा एस्पेक्ट ये है कि इससे हम जो यूजर्स हैं, जैसे टैक्स पेयर है, उसको हम क्या बेनिफिट दे सकते हैं। सिंपल सी चीज़ है, अगर टाइम सीरीज एनालिसिस करके रखते हैं कि एक टैक्स पेयर का एवरेज टैक्स, क्योंकि हमारे टैक्स रेट अलग अलग है, 5%, 12%, 18%, एवरेज मान लीजिए उसका 10% आता है, और किसी महीने सडनली 12% हो गया है, और अगर हमारा सिस्टम उनको बता दे कि भाई इस महीने आपने जो डेटा आपने डाला है इसमें कुछ गलती है, आपको पिछले 3 साल के दिखा दे, तो ये अभी लास्ट में अभी काम चल रहा था इस पर कि इस तरह की चीज़ भी हम दे सकते हैं। या आपको पूरी की पूरी आपकी प्रिपेयर्ड रिटर्न दे दें, आप ड्राफ्ट रिटर्न, और आप उसको चेक करके दीजिए। तो ये कई सारी चीज़ें हैं जिससे कि एनालिटिक्स तो मोस्टली अभी तक जो यूज हुआ शुरू में था फ्रॉड को करने के लिए, और जो लोग अच्छे कर रहे हैं उसको हम कैसे आगे जाने दें। फिर दूसरा एस्पेक्ट था कि पॉलिसी बनाने में भी इसकी बहुत ज़रूरत पड़ती है कि कौन सा, किस पे क्या हुआ, हम अगर इस रेट को इतना चेंज करें तो उसका क्या इम्पैक्ट होगा। तो इन शॉर्ट ये है कि बेटर प्रोडक्ट और इंक्रीजिंग एफिशिएंसी। और अगर हम प्राइवेट सेक्टर का केस लें तो गो टू मार्केट कैसे अच्छा होगा। तो चेंज मैनेजमेंट इन तीनों एस्पेक्ट्स को, और टेक्नोलॉजी तो एक माध्यम है, प्रोसेस इंप्रूव करनी है, और हैज टू बी डन बाय पीपल। और उनको ट्रेन करना, उनको अपनी तरफ ले आना, ये बहुत इंपॉर्टेंट है। और तभी होता है जब आप उनकी तरफ से सोचें। उनकी तरह से सोचना इज अ मस्ट। शायद
सर आपने, सॉरी
शायद मैंने आपको बता दिया, आप जो पूछ रहे थे, होपफुली आई वाज।
सर आपने कितनी सिंप्लिसिटी से, अगर और कोई जैसे इंडस्ट्री के लोग होते हैं तो उसमें 1000 जार्गन इसमें डाले होते हैं और एक सिंपल जार्गन डाला होता डिजाइन थिंकिंग। एक्चुअली जो आपने प्रोसेस फॉलो किया वो डिजाइन थिंकिंग का किया, कि जब आपने स्टेक होल्डर को सामने रख के, यंग चार्टर्ड अकाउंटेंट्स को बेसिकली आपने उनको की स्टेक होल्डर बनाया, तो जो डिजाइन थिंकिंग है एक्चुअली यू इम्प्लीमेंटेड दैट वेरी इफेक्टिवली इन दिस।
डिजाइन थिंकिंग वर्कशॉप हमने किए थे, मैंने नाम नहीं लिया था। डिजाइन थिंकिंग वर्कशॉप किए थे हमने दोनों तरफ से, दोनों तरह के यूजर्स को लाके एक जगह, वो कैसे।
और दूसरा सर, इसमें शायद मेरी जो अंडरस्टैंडिंग है उसके हिसाब से आप वो करेक्ट भी कर सकते हैं, शायद पहली बार ऐसा हुआ था जब पार्लियामेंट ने अपनी पावर्स जो जीएसटी काउंसिल बनाई थी उसको दी थी। मतलब पार्लियामेंट ने अपनी पावर्स निकाल के स्टेट फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर्स को दी थी, और इसका इम्पैक्ट इतना बड़ा था कि बजट में हर वक्त यही होता था कि साबुन, तेल, गैस पे कितने पैसे बढ़े, कितने कम हुए। इमेजिन करिए राघव कि वो सारा जो चार्म होता है सरकार के फाइनेंस मिनिस्टर की मुट्ठी में, वो उन्होंने जीएसटीएन को एवोल्यूशनरी मोड में दे दिया कि मंथली मीटिंग करो और डिसाइड करो। तो इसके बारे में कुछ बताइए सर, कि मेरे हिसाब से शायद फर्स्ट टाइम ऐसा चेंज आया था।
देखिए, जो फेडरल स्ट्रक्चर है ना हमारा, यहाँ पे जो इनडायरेक्ट टैक्सेशन था, कुछ जैसे मैंने आपको बताया, सर्विस टैक्स पूरा का पूरा सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट, एक्साइज टैक्सेशन यानी मैन्युफैक्चरिंग पे जैसे गुड्स निकलेगी मैन्युफैक्चर होके, वहाँ पे सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट के पास था। उसके बाद जितनी ट्रेड होगी वो स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के पास। अब चूंकि ये दोनों मिलके एक जगह हुए, तो दोनों ने अपनी पावर दी उस काउंसिल को। तो काउंसिल एक अलग तरह की ही फेडरल बॉडी बनी, जो फर्स्ट टाइप की है, जहाँ सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट और स्टेट गवर्नमेंट के ने अपने उनको डेलीगेट किया एक तरह से। वैसे मतलब वो इनैक्ट नहीं करते हैं, वहाँ पे डिस्कस होकर जो भी बताया, जो भी अग्री किया पूरी इस काउंसिल में, वो फिर सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट वही पास होता था और स्टेट के असेंबली में वही पास होता था। और एक बार छोड़ के बाकी जितनी मीटिंग हुई है सब में यूनानिमस। इट वाज यूनिक फॉर आवर कंट्री एंड बाकी दूसरी कंट्री में है नहीं। इनडायरेक्ट टैक्सेशन या तो सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट करती है या स्टेट करती है। एक दूसरा कंट्री है कनाडा, बस दो ही हम लोग हैं जहाँ पे कि डिस्ट्रीब्यूटेड दोनों के बीच में है। तो ये एक्सपेरिमेंट काफी बढ़िया था, और ये जो भी सक्सेस है, ये सक्सेस पूरा का पूरा गवर्नमेंट की लीडरशिप, बोथ सेंट्रल गवर्नमेंट एंड स्टेट गवर्नमेंट कमिंग टुगेदर एंड डूइंग दिस कोऑपरेटिव फेडरलिज्म की जिसकी बात करें, तो इसका सक्सेस का दोनों को इक्वली शेयर जाता है, उन लोगों ने किया। और बाकी तो हम लोग सब वो थे, मतलब उसको जो उनकी थॉट और उनकी जो फोरसाइट थी उसको इम्प्लीमेंट करने का था ऑफिसर्स ने और टेक्नोलॉजी।
राघव आप देखो कि कितनी हम्बली सर, इतना काम करने के बावजूद उसको कितना हम्बली सारा क्रेडिट पास ऑन कर पा रहे हैं। आप समझिए कि इतना हाई प्रोफाइल प्रोजेक्ट को कंसीव करना, ऑर्गेनाइजेशन को कंसीव करना, प्रोजेक्ट को कंसीव करना, बाय डर्टिंग योर हैंड्स, इम्प्लीमेंटिंग, रोलिंग इट आउट, और कितने आसानी से सर ने कह दिया कि हमें तो जो कहा गया हमने कर दिया, लगभग ऐसा कहा। पर आप देखिए उसमें लीडरशिप, एंड आई थिंक राघव दैट इज द लीडरशिप, जहाँ पर ये भी एक कोऑपरेटिव फेडरलिज्म है कि when you are working as the implementation agency, you are equally giving credit to the policy making. सर ये तो हुआ सरकार को लेके। अब आपने तो जैसे दोनों ही साइड ऑफ द सिस्टम देखी हैं, कॉर्पोरेट भी और सरकार भी। तो कॉर्पोरेट के बारे में आपसे थोड़ा सा बात करते हैं, और उसमें हम एक सब्जेक्ट उठाना चाहेंगे आपके साथ कि रिस्पॉन्सिबल कॉर्पोरेट, कि जो कॉर्पोरेट्स है, और हम जब रिस्पॉन्सिबल कॉर्पोरेट की बात कर रहे हैं, हम निश्चिंत ही प्रॉफिट की बात नहीं कर रहे, क्योंकि प्रॉफिट इज अ वेरी इंटीग्रल पार्ट ऑफ इंडस्ट्री एंड इट बेटर बी देयर। और वो मैक्सिमाइजेशन, ऑप्टिमल प्रॉफिट, वो एक तो आई थिंक बड़ा डिबेटेबल सब्जेक्ट है, हम उसको अभी पार्क कर देते हैं। जब हम बात कर रहे हैं, क्योंकि सरकार अगर आप देखें तो उसका एजेंडा लगभग सारा सोशल रहता है प्राइमरी, चाहे वो रेलवे चलाना है, चाहे वो वेरियस स्कीम्स हैं। कॉर्पोरेट के जब हम बात आते हैं करते हैं कि वेदर व्हेन इट कम्स टू एनवायरनमेंट और इट कम्स टू सोसाइटी कंप्लायंस रेगुलेटरी ऑल दैट, और शायद मेरी ऐसी लिमिटेड थिंकिंग है कि जब कोविड हुआ तो उस टाइम हमारे कॉर्पोरेट्स के पास एक बहुत बड़ी अपॉर्चुनिटी थी टू डेमोन्स्ट्रेट देयर कॉर्पोरेट लीडरशिप। तो अगर हम आपसे सर बात करें कि रिस्पॉन्सिबल कॉर्पोरेट्स के बारे में आपके क्या थॉट्स हैं, आपके क्या वी कैन कॉल देम एज योर पर्सनल व्यूज सर।
आई मीन पर्सनल व्यू है मेरा कि प्रॉफिट मैक्सिमाइजेशन एक अलग चीज है, रीजनेबल प्रॉफिट होना चाहिए, साथ साथ कंसर्न फॉर पीपल, फॉर एनवायरमेंट, और पीपल में दोनों तरह के लोग, उनके जो यूजर है बाहर और जो एम्प्लॉयज है, ये बड़ा इंपॉर्टेंट है। अदरवाइज क्या होता है कि फिर आप एट द कॉस्ट ऑफ पीपल और कॉस्ट ऑफ एनवायरमेंट चीज़ें करते हैं, एंड इन द लॉन्ग रन इट इम्पैक्ट्स द एंटायर सोसाइटी। तो वो चीज़ नहीं होनी चाहिए। और जैसे आपने बताया कि वो एक अपॉर्चुनिटी थी, अब तो ठीक है, इतना सडन हुआ कि बहुत से लोग, बट देयर वर लॉट्स ऑफ शाइनिंग एग्जाम्पल। छोटे छोटे भी एंटरप्राइजेज थे जिन्होंने अपने एम्प्लॉयज़ को निकाला नहीं, सैलरी कम करके भी, लेकिन चूल्हा जलने दिया। बहुत से लोगों ने ऐसे किया। तो वो एक, और हमारे एसएमई सेक्टर से आते हैं वो, जिन्होंने इस तरह के काम की एक एग्जाम्पल सेट किया, एंड आई विश दैट वाज डन बाय अदर बिग वंस आल्सो, जिससे इतने सारे लोग जो पलायन हुआ वो नहीं होता शायद, और काफी डिफरेंट हमारा सिस्टम होता। तो वही आपने जो कहा कि आप जो भी करें पर्यावरण को और लोगों को दोनों को ध्यान में रखते हुए, ये बड़ा इम्पोर्टेंट
है। राघव,
I think I have a couple of add-on queries, I would say curiosities. Sir gave a lot of principles behind the design of GSTIN, and coming from the Indian Administrative Service, and somewhere or the other, the culture has been traditionally centralizing of the controls and systems. So what really propelled this down delegation of such critical avenues, like you said, information to be accessible to the users at large? So this is a paradigm shift altogether. And you talked about from an end user's perspective. So what really inspired at the implementation level these two very important design elements? Because as you said that it is only India and Canada which have this bifurcation of the taxation system. So it is truly an innovation in governance, truly a top level brief getting implemented in these structural designs. So some light on that, sir.
So the structural design comes out of the constitutional amendment which happened, and that happened because both center and the states unanimously that this is what will be done. Now, any large automated system, especially where you have everyday filing and all that, unless until you provide information as per the user requirement, it will not work. And this I can tell you, having implemented large number of applications in the government and few also in the private sector. You have to see what user wants or what user needs. कई बार उनको पता नहीं होता है कि उनके लिए बेस्ट क्या है। आप अगर उनको दिखाते हैं कि अच्छा हाँ ये भी चाहिए मुझे, ये भी चाहिए. So that's important, and that is what we have done. And today technology enables you. So whatever is due to you should be given to you. But like for example, one taxpayer can see only his details or her details. He or she cannot see anyone else's. An officer can see only those taxpayers' details of which he has jurisdiction. He cannot or she cannot see anything else. So this role-based access we had designed completely from top. That was also to ensure privacy, because here there are lots of sensitive data. At what cost I'm selling to my one buyer two. I may be selling the same item at two different rates. They should not come to know, or even my officer should not be able to see that, and then their officer cannot see how it has been. So that's the way it has been done, role-based access. And that's a normal design principle which we use these days for all such applications.
Okay.
दूसरी वाली चीज होती है ना कि what user wants. Many times that you have to call, that doesn't happen many times, which I saw in private sector, especially when you're designing product for mass consumption. You have to do that. Either first you design by taking people from outside, then you launch it in a beta form, take inputs from them, improve it further, so that usability. And there are some products which are master in that. I don't want to take names, but iPhone, that company is master. I mean, they know exactly what the customer needs and wants. It is so intuitive that a 2-year child also can navigate through various various programs and run and operate that. So that is what user wants is that's applicable to all our listeners here. Whatever goods or service you are giving, that's very, very important what user wants. And going one step further and anticipating what else I can give. That's what they call wow feeling. If the user sees what says, oh, this is also possible. That is what I mean. And that really gives you lots of satisfaction.
So, but how could you steer through this kind of a paradigm shift in a as complex an environment in a government, and that too pertaining to the revenue of it all?
They don't stop you from doing it. In fact, there is a big change. In fact, government says this is based on, so role-based access is already working in government. Even in physical system, what files you have, you're not supposed to show it to someone else. Correct? So that's the way it is. But thinking what my user wants is largely this thing has come with more of discussion with people outside and listening to what the user wants and learning from private sector.
Moving from this GST part, sir, your curiosity सहज में आती है कि what made you to go to Japan and not to the Harvard Kennedy School of Governance? So this is quite a differentiated choice. तो इसका किस्सा सुनना हम जरूर चाहेंगे इस पूरे.
किस्सा कुछ खास नहीं है. I mean, I was working in sales tax department Delhi, what Sudhir ji was mentioning. And that time, this opportunity came, so I applied and I got World Bank scholarship. This scholarship was called Joint Japan World Bank Scholarship. And they were starting a new program, which was basically international tax program, they call it.
Okay.
So they offered me, and I was not sure whether I should go to Japan because the language. So I asked by fax. Those days there was no internet. This is 1997. So I sent a fax message asking that what will be the language of instruction and all that. So my dean, who used to work earlier in ADB and all, a very famous structural engineer from Japan, he wrote back, it will be English, but with Japanese accent. So I liked that. I said, okay, let me go. And then I had a fascination for this country, which rose almost from ashes after World War II. And we all know where they are, I mean, especially at that particular time. So I wanted to see what they are, how they have, especially in technology, how they have done it. The miniaturization, the sophistication in their product.
Okay.
So that was also, apart from learning the taxation part, they are not so great, I mean, not so well known outside. But my idea was also to go and see that how do they look at policy. And this school was a school of policy. So we had very senior people in industrial policy and some other policies as well from the government who had worked in government, and then they were teaching. So that was also another reason that I wanted to understand how did they make it possible from 1945, what they were in 1964 when they held Olympics for the first time, and then became such a big economy for such a small country which doesn't have any source on raw material. They import raw material, produce and sell at cheaper.
Okay. Fabulous. So sir brings in a phenomenal experience of serving India, having studied in Japan, and also have worked with some of the mightiest American corporations. So 3 civilizations in one go. That is what sir really brings to the table. And I probably feel that this triad of experience probably helped him to curate this ultra complex GST-IN at such a ease, which we see that he is just saying that it was all very normal, but as a user, we can somewhere see that what a mammoth task it would have been. That is really terrific, sir. Sudhir sir, if any further questions.
Yeah. Thanks. So, Raghav, as we spoke about, 3 part working for giants, Japan, then working with the government, all that. Usme, there is another dimension to that. all throughout pretty much we can say sir has been engaged with SME, small and medium enterprises. चाहे तो सर जब पहले दिल्ली इंडस्ट्रियल डेवलपमेंट कॉरपोरेशन में थे, फिर चाहे वो बाद में सेल टैक्स में थे, फिर अगर हम उसको जीएसटी की बात करें, एंड एज लेट एज जो सर वाधवानी इंस्टीट्यूट में करंटली काम कर रहे हैं वो भी एसएमई के लिए काम कर रहे हैं. तो आई थिंक इट विल बी वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग टू हियर फ्रॉम सर, लर्न फ्रॉम सर कि एसएमई को लेके सर के चाहे तो एसएमई की ग्रोथ है, चाहे उसकी स्केलेबिलिटी है, उसके ऑपरेशनल चैलेंजेस हैं, और एक जीएसटीएन के इरा में राघव एक इंटरेस्टिंग चीज की थी सर ने कि ही रियलाइज के देयर विल बी लॉट ऑफ न्यू टैक्स पेयर्स विल कम, indirect taxpayer, so they created the small utilities so that they don't have to run to the professionals to do work for them. So I think it will be very, very interesting to hear something from sir, that his perspective on small and medium enterprises. Sir.
Sudhirji, small and medium enterprises, not only in our country but world over, they form the backbone, in the sense they drive economy, the sheer number of people which they employ, and also the GDP contribution to the GDP is also quite tough. It's a different thing that it's quite, it's not so well organized, and that is where the problem also starts. So some of their problem is like technology which they use, how do you upgrade the technology? And then generally it is owner driven. So once you come up to certain level, आदत होती है हर कुछ manage करें अपने से. Now, the moment you become little big, say, for example, your turnover goes 20 crores or 30 crores, then you need some professionals as well. Then you can't keep on looking, yes, my travel mein gaya, if my expense kyun hua. So how do you make him realize that, okay, now this is the time you should opt for XYZ help from outside, or you recruit them or take it from, that's one. And then that also a thing where we see large number of SMEs stagnate. They just don't grow. So is it a glass ceiling there, or there is something else which is required? What was found that's the time when they need help on how to market their product, especially using the newest technology. How do they go and expand internet, what it provides today? How do they design for the next generation, the new generation which has come, people of your generation? And how do they improve technology and reduce cost? And then also in value chain, can they go backward or forward? So integrate kaise kare or adjacent material kaise laye? So that these are some of the things. And then they have another big problem of capital. उनके पास collateral नहीं होती इतनी कि जाके वो बैंक में दें और फिर वहां से लें. And with the result, many of them, they take loans at much higher interest. Some of the things government has done lots of work in this particular area. And what we saw during COVID, they were really bad. That's the most bad, really badly hit by COVID. Slowly they have come up. Government has also given lots of programs. They need some of the training program, which what Sudhirji was explaining or talking about, like our foundation works and gives them pro bono advisory on how to design, how to market, how to learn the new era techniques, how to communicate. So all that we gave them, in fact, even how to get the capital investors. That's also very important. And for startups, we have programs for where these incubators, what kind of things can be done there. You need gurus to tell you, those who have already gone through this path, what did they do? So that one-to-one consulting that also provided, and all these are pro bono. So this kind of thing is required a lot. Of course, government is doing so many things, but also from the third sector, what we call, this kind of things are required, and that's very important. So that is what I think is need of the hour today. what he was mentioning about the number of taxpayers, in fact, prior to GST, we had around 65,000 taxpayers under that GST, VAT, central excise and service tax. And within a year, it became 1.2%. And we knew that it will increase. So that's why we had kept the capacity like that. And after 2 years, again, we had to increase the underlying infrastructure. And then we did lots of things for them, applications, even including free accounting software for them, so that they could use. But problem क्या है ना कि reluctance है to use anything which is on internet. तो हमने वो देखा उसकी uptake बहुत कम थी. जबकि हमने इसको free रखा था और 6 different products, proven products government ने लेके council ने और उसको free of cost download रखा हुआ था. But वहाँ पे बहुत कम use कर रहे थे लोग. कई कारण हो सकते हैं. Familiarity है, दूसरा है कि अच्छा वहाँ डाल दिया, delete भी कर देंगे तो भी सरकार को पता लग जाएगा. That's what things come to mind. Yeah, so that is what I thought I would share.
Great.
और सर आजकल टेक्नोलॉजी enabled एग्रीगेटर का वक्त है. So in the modern times of technology-led aggregators, where do you see they can play a significant role, or they are already playing, in bringing up SMEs or supporting SMEs?
So that's a great question, Sudhirji. I worked for a very small period, 5 months with Deloitte. But there, what we did for one of the large automotive companies, we created an application where all their wholesalers, last mile shop, showroom, everyone could file all their GST compliances to one application. So what this manufacturer did, he said, let them not be bothered about how to comply for e-invoice, this, that. Let them be on this. Of course, they also had benefit, because if they do it, they know exactly how much material, how many vehicles are at which showroom, when to send supplies, and other things. But then this created, so one platform on hundreds of their dealers and showrooms came. Now, this is one company did. Now, suppose a startup comes and says, I'm creating something like this, because if you are selling product of 2 different companies or 5 different companies, you need not worry about it. I give you this platform and start using it. So you don't need to worry about your accounting or GST return compliance and all. But that acceptance is still little slow, and the reason is people say कि अगर जब पकड़े जाएंगे गड़बड़ होगा तो फिर तो हमें कंसल्टेंट के पास ही जाना पड़ेगा. तो उसके अभी से क्यों नहीं शुरू से ही रखें. But that is what Sudhirji is the right thing, that where people can come as aggregator, like GST Suvidha provider. Today we created this concept where around more than 50 IT fintech companies they are doing excellent work. Almost all our large and medium-sized companies are complying with all the requirements through them. So you don't need to bother. You just connect your accounting system, billing system. Automatically it goes from there. It gets invoice gets filed, your return gets prepared. They download in purchase return made by the GST system, do matching, show you. So all that headache is done by a third party. So that kind of thing, which is done for the large and medium size, can it also be done for the small scale? That's the question, and there is an opportunity which.
I have with Sudhir's permission, if I may, I have sir. You have dealt MSME, their taxation part, and also the technology. So one of the concerns which is coming through the MSME sector because of the advancement of technology and especially the automation and all kind of other fourth revolution we are on to. So, and also we are finding the 1%er syndrome, that the pyramid is getting further steeper and steeper. And GST ITN has probably some of the most versatile data sets for policy making further. Now we can see that this HSN code and this class of enterprises is really contributing more. Probably that is a more classified data, but there's something which is a huge sea of a real-time GDP computational mechanism is out there. So how do you see this GST ecosystem really driving some of the futuristic policy dimensions. For example, the Ministry of Cooperation has just come over there. The 7 crore retailers and traders are fighting tooth and nail against a fair play. The Competition Commission of India is fighting the global behemoths. You have to play by our rules, and every day there is a lot of mistrust things over there. So can we really think of a regime where technology enabled, like we had geofencing, so kind of some sectors reserved for the MSME sector? So these kind of, I would say, regulatory regime using the data, real-time data, coming to real brass tacks policy, which can really create an equitable economic atmosphere in the country, because we have such a vast, I would say, diversity over here, where people have mom and pop stores, small manufacturing units. So how we will balance it out in, say, 10 years down the line? How do you see the scenario playing out?
See, I'm not a expert in this area. I'm not a soothsayer who can look into crystal ball. But then the data is very much available. And now, as you mentioned, at 4-digit, of course, it is available. HSN code, exact how much is produced, how much gets exported, what we import. In fact, we do this analysis. There is a tool which is used by Ministry of Finance, where same item, and commerce also, what we import and what we export. You can compare two states, production, and then also you can compare, you can go up to the district and compare. So that kind of thing is there. But then geofencing part, I don't know, man, how that, what you are contemplating by that. But then this data, exact data from different segments, it's available. And that is, in fact, Ministry of Statistics and Program Implementation. They are already working on it, how to take this and use it for as for GDP calculation. Here the problem is in GST indirect taxation, wholesaler turnover, manufacturer turnover will also be there in the wholesalers, and wholesalers will also be in the retailers. So you have to have a mechanism to balance out what is common in both. So after manufacturing or import, what gets added, only that much has to be seen. So they have a mechanism to do that part, so that you can derive the little exact. And then secondly, there are lots of sectors which are not covered by the GST. Petroleum is not covered. Then you have lots of exempted categories which are. So how do you bring that turnover into GDP? So those are some of the challenges which the statisticians, they are the expert people in the streets, they are working on it. But geofencing part, I'm sorry, I will not be able to answer that. But this data is of immense use to come out with policy. In fact, now this data is, last when I was there, was being used by Ministry of Finance for doing all this kind of analysis, code, what, and from where to where and all that. E-way bill gives you data of complete transportation of at pin code level, from one pin code to another, what HSN code. So in fact, if you see on the analytics dashboard, it shows from state A to state B what is the flow, how much, over a month, over a 1 year, whichever way you want. Who is the net exporter, who is the net importer, all that you can see using this data. Excellent data, but then it's only for goods, not for service.
Only for goods.
E-way bill data, but that's an excellent example. And that can be used also for creating, suppose you want, the government wants to go for new highways. So which way lots of traffic is going today? Is there a way to improve that, shorten it? Suppose it's going following a little triangular, can it be made straight? Number one. Number two, which are the locations from where goods come and then they get dispatched to so hub and spoke models. So there are operation research models to optimize that. So where do you open those centers where the goods come and then they get distributed? So all that can be done with this data. There are lots of things which can be done. And the good part is this data we take after lots of validation, which created lots of pain in the beginning. But then since it is a clean data, you have you can use it for many other purposes.
So these are.
Yeah. Sir, before we let you go, with your kind of wide experience of working with government, center, the marathon of government and industry, the biggies of the world and then SME, the transformation, transition and transformation of tax regime. If we, request you, what will be the word of wisdom you would like to, leave or for our, listeners today, for our audience today? The word of wisdom, especially in the changing time, fast changing time like today. So your last few words.
Again, I said, I'm not a guru who leave a word of wisdom, but all of us who are listeners here, especially the young people, you are working to provide either some service or you are into a manufacturing part of the team, which is manufacturing. So whatever you do, whatever you provide, goods or service, please see to it whether it is meeting the needs of the ultimate user.
Mhm.
And always think, can I give 20% more than what is needed?
Wow, wow, wow.
So that is what I always have believed, that if I can do that, then I'll be successful. And this is what has been personal experience. Put
Mhm.
yourself into the shoes of the user and see what else I can give. And then anticipate, because that's, I'm a big fan of Steve Jobs. So the way he used to think so ahead of others and design or look at things. I just listening to his one of the videos where he says he went to calligraphy class, not on credit, but he used to just attend and learned how these different fonts are created, and that's the reason all the computers today have so many beautiful fonts. So it's important to see and then learn. But ultimate user, whatever we provide, how do we give 10 or 20% more than what they have?
Sir, Raghav, if you see, India is a country of cricket. वो आजकल इंडिया इंग्लैंड का चल रहा है. दूसरा, आई थिंक वी आर अ कंट्री ऑफ बॉलीवुड. तो बॉलीवुड के अगर हम अंदाज में सर का जो लास्ट वर्ड है वो कहें, दिल मांगे मोर.
And the kind of inspiration sir has given is really unheard of, like in the complex governmental system, dealing with those systems and taking the cue from one of the futuristic technological corporation. I think the aspiration index, what sir has really delivered in a very substantial way, is quite phenomenal. And how technology would be driving policy in years to come, that sir has really laid the, I would say, the blueprints of all the data sets of GST. Probably they can really take us to that pin level understanding of the economic activity in the country. More models would be coming. So I think there is the vision of that Maharishi, what we say that they are the mantra drashtas, and he has been a srashta himself, a drashta who saw it from multitudinal angles and who really created it out. He really delivered in that small time, mission critical time span, application which was working, which is so very central for being the economic powerhouse of the country. So I think, and at the last sir said, give 20% more. So there comes the philanthropy part of it, create a value more, or jo, it's not about taking yourself, it is about giving. And this is really very, very important. And as we say in these talks of ours, that how these mantras make you self-aware and they anchor you, say, a civilizationally assured leader. I think Sir's talk had all those elements, and we are really benefited and we are really indebted by his aphorisms which he has granted today. And very poised, such complications, the whole country is bubbling out, and in a very composed and a poised fashion, he has handled it all very silently, very, I would say, without much of the halabulla over there, just delivered it across. So I think this is a truly terrific session, sir. I think we can close and move forward with this. Thanks a lot, Prakash sir, for these.
Thank you very much, Raghavji.